Eric Lanask coming to you here from Cloud Expo at the Javits Center in New York. John, there's been a lot of conversation over the last couple of years about kind of explaining what the cloud is and what folks can do with it. I'm sensing a little different attitude here at the show this year, where people are actually understanding what they can do with it and are really looking to dive headfirst in.
Well, I think that's true. There are really two pieces of innovation around the cloud. The cloud is a place, or it's a way of consuming product, but it's also a way of doing things, a cloudy way of managing your infrastructure. And so that's part of what we started to play in with our own product set, to be able to deliver it in the traditional software form factor, but also in a cloudy form factor, but also in the cloud.
Now, as much as folks are starting to understand the kinds of things and are starting to do those kinds of things with the cloud, the one consistency over the years and even this week here is it secure? Is my data secure? Am I safe?
Well, I think one of the biggest drawbacks or inhibitors for people getting into the cloud is this perceived, anyway, fear about data security. We help address that by providing some encryption and data management and visibility tooling so you can see where your data is moving. But I think some of those perceptions maybe diverge a bit from reality, because there's also a kind of economy of scale, maybe even a mental economy of scale around the cloud, that if you have a cloud provider who's using good tools, they do a better job of protecting the data on your behalf than you might do yourself. So especially for smaller companies, I think cloud makes good sense from a security perspective, provided that the people that you're getting your services from are transparent about the kind of security they're providing.
So without having the same kind of visibility into the cloud as you would in your on-premises data center, how can you be certain that your cloud provider is actually as secure as you need them to be?
Well, I think something else is happening is an increased amount of standardization around ways of talking about the cloud. So you'll see a lot of vendors here talking about ODCA, which has created some standards so you can describe your cloud offering in a way that people consuming the cloud can understand. The government has just published a set of FedRAMP guidelines around cloud security. So the common vocabulary around what cloud security means is increasing, and I think enables that kind of transparency.
Is the federal government's adoption of cloud-based services a positive sign that security is actually in place in the cloud?
Well, I tell you, it's interesting because Vivek Kundra put out this cloud-first policy about a year and a half ago. And so they're tracking progress on that. And some of the projects that US government agencies are doing in the cloud are security projects. They're using the cloud for perimeter security. In addition to classical things you might expect them to do, CRM or backup and archiving or email or something like that. So I think that is a pretty good indicator that cloud is certainly viable as a place to deliver security, and can be a secure place to do business. Can be.
What still needs to be done?
Well, I think there's a lot that we don't understand yet about evolving and emerging threats around security in the cloud. I think there may be kind of a big data angle. If the bad guys can use the cloud as a big data engine to find more data and different avenues of attack, security is never one and done. It's an ongoing process, and so I think there's a lot to learn there. I think there's also kind of an economic blending situation that getting started in the cloud may be less expensive than doing it on-premise, but then as we grow, we may find that, we actually need to change the cost model. We still want to do it in a cloudy way, and so we may get some of the cloudy tools that you'll find at a show like this, but we're going to be running a private cloud as opposed to a public cloud, and at the end it's going to be just kind of a big hybrid mishmash of things. Chaos is good for business, for people who help manage that chaos, but I think that's the way it's going to play out.
Excellent, John, thank you. Follow all the videos and conversations from a chaotic Cloud Expo in New York this week on my Twitter feed @elanask. With TMC, I'm Eric Lanask.